Hey guys, Marissa at kitchentablestamper.com. Really excited about the Forever Friendship stamp set from Stampin' Up. It's brand new in the holiday catalog. If you haven't gotten yours, there's a link below to request it. I am going to go through next week and see if there's any of my customers who haven't yet requested it or received it. If that's you, put your request in. It makes the labels easy for me to click and print, and it helps me keep track of who's gotten the catalog. If you're still looking for your holiday catalog and celebration catalog, click the link below in the description or below the video on the blog. It's a free product in the store. Just request your free product by checking out with $0. If you haven't requested your catalog, please do it. It's my pleasure to send free catalogs to Kitchen Table Stamper customers. I just like to confirm that you want one, where to send it, and when you make it easy for me to click and ship, it is a huge help, and I'm so grateful. All right, let's get to our project today. We're gonna make this adorable little Dove chocolate 4-piece treat box. This is a design from my friend Rie, who was a kitchenette. She's since moved back to Japan, and I miss her terrible, but isn't this the cutest little 4-piece box? Let's get started. We're gonna take our Forever Friendship stamp. We've got this little typewriter. We need to stamp it in a couple of different colors on a couple of different colors. So we're gonna go in order of how easy it is to clean up. We're gonna take some basic black cardstock, Versamark ink, white embossing powder, and the embossing buddy's back. It's also in the new holiday catalog. There's an embossing kit. So if you need one of these buddies, you can order the kit from the new holiday catalog. We just rub the buddy across the paper, and then I'll tap off the excess. That'll help us keep the white speckle down to a very minimum. We're gonna stamp in Versamark, and then we're going to embossing powder. We're gonna just take this right to our white powder. I love to put them in these little, I think this one's a Ziploc brand. It actually looks like no branded, but I love these little tiny disposable containers for embossing powder because you can just dip right in, and then there is no need to collect it and shake off the excess. There's our adorable little typewriter. Let's put that aside for just a second, and we're going to clean off our stamp. I've wiped off the stamp. Let's give that a second to dry. While it dries, we're going to heat set our typewriter. I've got my heat tool right here, and we're going to get that clothespin back. And I'm going to heat set this dude using my Stampin' Up heat tool. All right, there's our typewriter. We'll let that cool off, bring our typewriter stamp back in, and now we're going to take some Memento Tuxedo black ink, and we're going to ink the page and stamp on a white scrap. Now we're going to clean again, and we're going to stamp Poppy Parade. And we want that little thank you heart greeting. We want 2 of those. So that's all we need. Excellent. Now, going to set these guys aside for just a minute. We've got a little fussy cutting and assembling to do to get that multicolor typewriter. Got my paper snips. I'm going to cut out my typewriter with a little tiny black border around the machine itself. Just the tiniest little edge. That way we keep the integrity of the line. And we're going to go up to the page. Then we're just going to cut the page off. No sense in fussy cutting that. This is just going to be a glue tab for the white page. Now we'll go around the rest of the typewriter, get it cut out. When we fussy cut, there's no prize for cutting it out all in one piece. So especially when you're getting in an area like the handle here, you want to cut away the excess before you go into that area so that there's no resistance against your scissor. And there is our typewriter. Now the page, we're going to cut right along the line where it overlaps the typewriter, and then come out and do a little white border. That little white border then matches up with a little black border around the machine. Where it overlaps the machine again, go right on the edge and then we're going to cut it away from the machine, cutting on the line. When you paper piece one part over to the other, you want to cut on the stamped line. When you cut out a fussy cut image, just a little white border helps to hide any imperfections in your fussy cutting. Now we've got this adorable little thank you, and we want one for the outside and we want one for the inside. And I'm just gonna kind of bubble cut. You see, I'm just wiggling the paper into the scissor. My left hand's doing the driving. My right hand is doing open and close on the scissor. And because it's not perfectly smooth, I'm just kind of wiggle cutting a little bit along the edge here. I'm going to cut out two, one for the outside and one for the inside. I love that little thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Sometimes that's how I feel. Let's get some dimensionals and liquid glue and put this together. Once I make my parts, I like to put them together. You can't lose your parts if they're all stuck together. Well, you could lose your parts, but then you'd lose them all. All right, little dimensional on the back of one of our hearts, set one aside. This glue tab right here on our typewriter gets some liquid glue, and then the page gets glued on top. And then on top of that, our little thank you heart on dimensionals. And that's our adorable little machine. Isn't that fun? Think of all the adorable uses for that. Make a bunch of them and then make a stack of cards and treats. It's just too cute. All right, set that aside. Let's make our treat now. Got a piece of 4 1/4 by 6 9/16 basic black cardstock. And I'm going to show you how to do this, even with the 16ths, on your Simply Score tool, because you can if you just flip. So we're going to put our box in the Simply Score tool on the 6 9/16 inch side. All right, and we're going to score at 1/2, at 1, at 3 1/4, and 3 3/4. Then we're going to rotate and score at 1/2. And that 1/2 puts that extra 1/16 of an inch into the cover so that our box opens and closes smoothly. The bottom fits into the top then. Very important, that little 1/16 of an inch. You could also use your Stampin' Up! Trimmer and score 1/2, 1, 3 1/4, 3 3/4 like we did, and then score at 6 1/16. You need the trimmer to do that. So your choice whether you use the trimmer and do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 scores just straight across the paper, or you do like I did and use your Simply Score tool, do the first 4 scores, rotate, and then score at 1/2 inch. Now we're going to rotate to the right and score at 1/2 and 1, and then we're going to score at 1/2 and 1 on the other 4 1/4 inch side. We're going to work the score lines with the bone folder and trim according to the template. The template picture is in the printable project sheet on the blog. You can click if you're watching on YouTube. And when you get to the blog, there's a link below the embedded video that says project. This one will say Forever Friendship Dove 4-piece treat box project sheet. And it'll be a big red link. You just click that, it pulls up the printable project sheet and the photo of the template, and all of the measurements for this project supply list are in there. All right, so we're going to start out with the double 1/2 inch score line in our left hand. We're going to cut the 2 rectangles off. You can do a little bit of an angle because this is going to tuck in. A little bit of an angle here. Now we're going to cut straight along the outside of the score and then angle along the inside, and then cut off this little square. Now we've got a glue tab. Same thing on this side. Straight along the score line, angle from the inside on the tab, and then cut off. And there's the first portion. Now we're going to move to the center tabs. We're going to cut straight along the box, angle along the tab, and then here, same thing, straight along the box, opposite angle along the tab, and then cut out. Now we've got our center glue tab. Let's do the same thing on the other side. There's our second center tab. Now let's go to the end, and we're going to finish the tabs here. To finish the tabs for the lid, you're going to cut off the long rectangle and the little square, and then cut straight along the box and angle for the tab, and then do a little bevel at the top. All right, same thing for the other side. All right, our box is ready. Let's go ahead and add a little thumb notch to the top here. It makes it so much easier to have this little place to grab onto when you open and close this box. So I'm going to use the retired 1/2 inch punch and my Simply Scored for centering it. So Simply Scored has a centering ruler across the top. You're going to find that 0. And then this is 2 1/4 inches. So we need to put it at 1 1/8. So 1 1/8. We've got 1 1/8 on both sides. I'm going to mark center with a stylus, and then bring a little 1/2 inch circle punch in here. You can use the cleft of a heart if you want to here. You can use a small little circle die or an end of an oval die if you don't have a 1/2 inch circle punch. We're going to die cut with this heart from Give It a Whirl in just a minute. If you had to, you could cut your little thumb notch with it too. All right, now tear and tape. You're going to use tear and tape on both sides of this box. On the inside of the box, you're going to run your tear and tape on these 3 long glue tabs. There's one here, opposite of each other, and then one here. Then you're going to flip your box over to the outside of the box. On the outside of the box, you're going to put a little bit of tear and tape. You could use liquid glue for these tabs too, but you'd have to hold them until they grab. So I do like tear and tape for this. You could use the old fast fuse for this. I think the CL Plus is strong enough. I don't use the CL Plus and don't recommend it, but tear and tape is an awesome choice. All right, now I'm going to grab my Take Your Pick tool, and I'm going to remove these 6 tabs first. Save the long ones on the other side for after we assemble. All right, now when your box opens up and when it sits closed, you want these tabs secure at the back of the box. So let me show you. We're going to open it up, and you'll see that the bottom of the box is the one that has the open side. All right, so when you're assembling the box, it's really important to get this tab in the right position so that you get a nice, smooth, finished box. If this open edge here was here instead, then when your box was closed, these would flare out a little bit and gape. All right, so it's very important why we're doing it this way. Let's go ahead and we're going to start with the thumb notch, and we're going to make the front lid corners. Then we're going to bring this tab to the outside, to the lid of the box. And trust me, I spent a whole day working out the measurements so this opened and closed smoothly and looked great when it was closed. I did this template with 4 different sets of measurements and with the tabs both ways, and so I've really taken a lot of time to make sure that this box opened and closed smoothly, looked gorgeous closed, no gaping, and you didn't have to crunch the bottom to get the top to close. So really, there's a method to the madness, and I spent a lot of time working it out. Now we've got our long tabs. Let's go ahead and liberate the adhesive. Freedom. All right, now we're going to fold in to reinforce the bottom of our box. This makes a very sturdy little treat box. Ha, so cute, right? And it fits 4 Dove chocolates. But before we close up the box and decorate the outside, Let's decorate the inside. So cute. All right, there's our chocolates. I went ahead and I cut 2 of these red stitched hearts using the stitched heart from Give It a Whirl. It's the medium size one. While we're die cutting, we're going to take another scrap. These are both Poppy Parade. We're going to cut 3 little hearts using the 3 little hearts from the Cracker and Treat box. Let's pop those into the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine and do a little die cutting. Got my machine set up for die cutting. You're going to cut 3 of this heart total. I did 2 ahead. There are our hearts, stitched one for the inside and the 3 little ones for the outside. That guy back in there. And this guy, we need a roll of mini glue dots. We're going to put the stitched hearts each on a mini glue dot. And then remember that cute little extra thank you heart that we cut. We're going to put that on a glue dot. We're going to put the little thank you in the bottom right hand corner. It just looks so cute when you open it up. Make sure all your chocolates are going the same direction. They look better that way. And then just pop the little hearts on and decorate them. I think nothing says thank you like a box of chocolate. There's our sweet little candies. Let's close up our box. Next up, Designer Series paper. This is from the brand new Host exclusive package. Stampin' Up has been hitting it out of the park with the Host exclusive. This is Celebrate Everything, and this is almost entirely the whole pack. I haven't used a lot of it yet, but look at all these amazing patterns, really to celebrate everything. Christmas, Halloween, every day, fall, fireworks, the confetti dots and rainbow stripes. This is my favorite pattern with the candies and the gingerbreads for Christmas. Here's the other side just to give you a little flip. It's this whole big brick of paper with all these amazing designs for girls, for boys, for every holiday. I think that's it. It's free with a $150 or more order. Now, if you do $150, you can pay the balance. It's $18 in Host rewards, but the only way to buy it is with those Host rewards. All right, let's take this piece. It is 2 1/8 by 2 3/16, and we're going to wrap it with in color twine. So I've got the 2022, 2024 in color basics. This pack is going to give you so much mileage. This is a sweet sorbet twine. We're using it with Poppy Parade. It looks great with either of those colors, and there's some really good flexibility within the other colors too. You can use the Parakeet Party with Garden Green, and it looks amazing. You can use the Starry Sky with Starry Sky or Night of Navy, looks great. And the Tahitian Tide, of course, with Tahitian Tide, but it looks pretty good with Pacific Point too. So there's some definite flexibility in this twine. You get a ton in the pack, and a little bit goes a really long way. We just wrapped a few times around our Designer Series paper, tied a bow. I'm going to slide it down a little bit after I trim the tails. Give my bow a little finesse. It's a little twisty. That's the only thing with Baker's twine, is that twisted twine. Looks great with the red and white, but it likes to give you a twisty bow. I'm going to slide it down to about 1/3 of the way from the bottom. And let me play with my bow just a little bit, see if I can get some of the twist out of it. All right, I'm gonna trim the tails and get some dimensionals. I love the edges of my dimensionals for stuff like this. We're going to use the regular size dimensionals here and just cut several strips that we can use on the back, because we're going to bump this Designer Series paper up, which will help us hide that the twine runs underneath. So I'm going to do a few strips, It's designer series paper, so it's kind of thin. We want to make sure it's well supported. So I'm using quite a bit. The box is also going to be handles, opened and closed to get the candies or to show off. All right, we want to go ahead and adhere that to the lid of our box. So cute. And our typewriter is going to go on with dimensionals too. For treats, give me the dimensionals. Double and triple is fine by me. But we want to kind of avoid the area where the twine is. I'm going to put it up high and down low, so it kind of straddles the twine, which will hold it up a little bit. And I'm going to take the edge of one of these little guys right here, trim a skinny little piece, and put that behind the little arm of the typewriter too, just to support that because of the way that this box is going to be handled. Pop that on. Cute. Now we need some liquid glue and our hearts. We've got 2 hearts that we're going to put on liquid glue and 1 that we'll put with a bit of dimensional. I'm going to start with the 2 with liquid glue. I'm going to use my take your pick tool, pick up the heart with the putty end, dab a little glue, and then bring my heart right next to the bow here and deposit. And a little glue on my heart. Pop that up so that this looks like it's kind of floating up in a triangle pattern, right? And we can straighten it out a bit using the take your pick tool. They're a little tippy. All right, I think I like that. Then back to my dimensionals, and I'm going to cut a tiny bit from this one that we had already started to cut up. Pop that on the back of my last heart. I just love the little detail, the little pop of color that this brings. It's one cut or one pass in the die cut machine because you get all 3 hearts from one pass with that cracker and treat box die. Good wingman die. And there it is. And inside, even more thanks. All right, you guys, if you've got any questions about the project, please email marissa@kitchentablestamper.com. And to shop Stampin' Up! 24/7, you can buzz over to marisaalvarez.stampinup.net. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.